Please wait a moment. Come on. Come on. Oh.
Are we live?
We might be.
Go to the page and see if people are telling us if we're live.
Oh. Our face is going to be there? Come on.
Like, internet gods work, please.
We've probably been live for like 20 minutes, and they're like, oh my god, these girls are weird.
Are we?
Oh.
Are we there? Yes, we're there. Victory!
Yes! How long does it take two authors to set up a YouTube stream?
Very good question.
That's our first question of the night.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to set up a YouTube stream? Apparently it takes you like us, like me. No, it takes me.
We were trying to be fashionably late for our own show, you guys.
Okay.
It was all on purpose.
So can you hear us? I assume the answer is yes. They say we see you. It says yes, you're alive. Can you hear us? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If you can't hear us,
We just popped up.
so it's
And that was from Lauren. Hey, Lauren, we love you.
Lauren! Hearts for Lauren.
Yes.
Hearts for everyone who's here.
Yes.
Like,
you guys are amazing.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna be really rude, and on my own live chat, I'm gonna tweet the fact that I just got it live.
Yes,
Like,
because it was an amazing accomplishment. You should be very proud of this. Like, please.
This was one of those things where I was doing it before, and like 15 minutes before, I'm like, I've broadcasted on YouTube. We're good.
Yeah, I was like, hey, Elise, like, do we need time to figure this out, to set it up? Like, just let me know. We can maybe test out an hour before. You're like, no,
I got it. Yeah. I got this. And then YouTube changed everything. And so this is all on me, you guys. I own up to this one. This is all on me.
Or it's on YouTube, going and changing things without telling people.
I know. Jerks. So, okay.
Kind of like the new Goodreads. Like, have you noticed that? They totally, like, revamped how the entire site looks.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Do you?
I'm a big fan of the redesign. It's very clean, more organized.
I like the redesign.
Yeah.
I definitely like the redesign. I like
sleek.
the font change.
Exactly.
These are the things that I notice. I'm like, ooh, you changed the font. Oh my.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But okay, hold on. I'm going to tweet. Why don't you tell people what we have while I tweet and say,
Okay,
oh my gosh,
so
we're live.
Everyone, we went to Trader Joe's before here because we had to have some midnight snacks for you all. We got some of Elise's favorite, which is peanut butter M&Ms.
That
Love
actually
it.
didn't come from Trader Joe's. I had those stashed
in her
my car. I'm telling you guys, I love peanut butter M&Ms.
Questionable. Very questionable candy
Totally
here.
legit. Totally legit.
I'm just going to leave that this way. And then, these are also Elise's ideas. She's like the food expert here. She kept telling me about these cookies that I had to try. Like, it's like carrot cake. And it's in between these two chocolate chip cookies. So it's supposed to be super delicious. We'll be trying some of these later.
It is super delicious.
And then we've got some apple cider.
We do. Oh, I'm reaching down awkwardly because mine's hidden.
Because it's winter and we love winter drinks. So.
Yay. All right. So I feel like we should start. I feel like I've already botched the opening, but let's kind of say who we are.
Yeah.
And what we do. And then I feel like we should explain why we're both sitting on a couch together in my guest room. So I'm Elise Kova, YA author of high fantasy romance novels, and I have written the Air Awaken series, which is a high fantasy romance. Funny how that works out. Which tells the story of Vali Jarl as she discovers her magic and goes into the Solaris Empire and takes on a war, and a bunch of things happen. This is my synopsis for books. I'm like, a bunch of things happen.
Well, you don't want to give spoilers.
That's the hardest thing.
Exactly.
Well, the other problem I have, I don't know if you've ever had this problem, but I feel like when I'm explaining my books, because I know the whole story, and I know all the intricacies and everything that's going to happen, I have such a hard time boiling it down to just like a
Because there's so many important parts in our mind as the author that no part's more important than the other. We think everything's important, but Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. So anyway, so I write the Air Awakened series. Book 1 came out in August. Book 2, Fire Falling, came out in November. And Book 3, Earth's End, is coming out in February. And you've written a lot. You're way more of a prolific writer than I am at
That
this
is
point.
so not true, because she actually writes more in a like smaller period of time than I have. But hey guys, I'm Michelle Madow. I am the author of the Transcend Time Saga, the Secret Diamond Sisters series, and the Elemental series, which is upcoming. I wrote my first series in college. It is about a girl who's been reincarnated from 1815 England. And then I wrote the Secret Diamond Sisters, inspired by my favorite hotel in Las Vegas, the Wynn Hotel, which is beautiful, about 3 sisters who grew up very poor and then find out they are long-lost heiresses of a Las Vegas billionaire hotel owner. So if you like Gossip Girl and Pretty Little Liars, you will love that one.
And I love... So, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about your book for a second. I'm jumping in. But I don't love contemporary books, and I really enjoyed The Secret Diamond Sisters because when I read that book, it's like the most beautiful train wreck ever. Like,
I'm
their
going to take
lives...
that as a compliment.
No. I mean the Diamond Sisters' lives. Not your writing or the plot, but, like, their lives are just, like, one of those things where you're just like, oh my god, who does this happen to 100 pages later? And you're like, this is fabulous.
And none of that was inspired by real life at all.
Drama never happens in real life.
Of course not.
Of course
no
not.
one ever makes bad decisions.
No.
Anyway, so, and then Elementals is my upcoming series that I'm so excited to share with you all. It is about a girl who moves to a new town and discovers that she's a witch descended from Greek gods. So fans of Percy Jackson and The Secret Circle will love it. And, like, it's so action-packed and there's so much magic, so it's been really fun for me to write, and I just can't wait for you all to read it.
And Elementals, as the title suggests, has elemental magic.
Well, as does Air Awakens.
Boom!
We are, like, elemental magic sisters.
We are.
Yeah.
Look at
that
on
magic.
That.
Yeah.
author magic. I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
We don't have to do it again. So we are here and we are doing this, and this is we're kind of having a mini writers week, and we've been trying to plan this for a long time.
For a few months.
And so we finally made it happen. And sorry. My brain goes in a million different places, but I have to share this with you. And I haven't told you this before.
Oh, I got a surprise on air.
You get a surprise
on air. Oh my
air.
gosh.
So, in Air Awakens, I know you've read Air Awakens, there's a point where Vala is led into the royal area. She's first led there by Aldrich, and the next time she's led there is by Balder. And I specifically mentioned that the marble floor was laid in a diamond pattern, and that's a shout out to the
Diamond Sisters reference. Yes. Right there. It's an Easter egg in Air Awakens. Everyone look out for it.
It's a total shout out to the
amazing.
Diamond Sisters. Anyways, so why are we here? Why are we doing this? Rather, like, how do we know each other?
Very good question.
There's actually a really secret network of authors. And when you get inducted into the society, there's this candlelight ceremony and all these... No.
It's like a sorority, basically.
It basically is. We actually met in college. And that's the legit answer. We actually met in college, and...
So, my roommate is friends with Elise. They were both in anime club. I was not in anime club. And therefore, we met for like all of a hot 2 seconds and basically didn't really talk for all of college.
And for the entire 4 years of college, I knew who you were. And like I'd always hear people mention you and be like, oh yeah, I'm hanging out with Michelle. Oh yeah, I'm hanging out, or roommates with Michelle. And I'd be like, okay, cool. And didn't think we had anything in common.
We thought, well, I probably knew that we had a bit more in common, but I didn't really, like, I liked all the sci-fi, like, fantasy books and stuff, but it wasn't really something I would necessarily talk about with everyone. I guess because in college, I guess you're so concerned about what other people think, which is something I've so gotten over by now. Yeah. But, so we just had no idea, and because of that, we missed out on, like, this awesome friendship we could have had during college, probably, which is kind of sad, but it's not sad because it's an excellent ending. So we went through college kind of knowing of each other. We had mutual friends.
Yeah, so we ended up being Facebook friends. Like, we knew enough of each other.
We were close enough that we clicked that little friend button. Yeah. And so we could, like, see what each other were up to.
That was... Yeah. I feel like we hung out, like, once, like, I was there.
Fox Day 2006. 7.
Yes. So we hung out like once, and it was like totally one of those, we should be friends on Facebook. Done.
Oh my gosh, let's add each other.
And then that was it. Also,
sometimes we liked each other's statuses.
Gavin, hello from the Philippines, or hello to the Philippines.
We love the Philippines. I want to go to the Philippines so badly.
I do too.
Like,
we need to plan a trip.
Yes.
My cover artist, Marcella Chan, she lives in the Philippines.
So many people. Like, there are so many amazing readers in the Philippines, so shout out to all of you all who live there. I've looked it up online. It looks beautiful, so.
I need to go there.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I
and Miss Philippine is new Miss Universe.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Beautiful people and bookish people.
Yes.
It's my kind of place.
Anyway, the continuation of that story, the Facebook ad.
So we added each other on Facebook, graduated college, and basically didn't really talk other than the occasional, oh, that's cool, liking of each other's statuses.
Well, when she went to Japan, I kept liking all of her status updates because it was very interesting. And I was like, wow, I love hearing your adventures. I'm just going to like everything and be like super, super creepy.
And so while I was in Japan, I wrote Air Awakens, and I wrote it on Fiction Press, and that was when I had people who were like, are you publishing, are you not publishing? And so I looked into publishing, and I started doing what anyone would do. I asked Google, and and I asked Google, and of course, if you Google anything on publishing, you're going to get people on every end of the spectrum, from like, if you don't self-publish, you're an idiot, to if you don't traditionally publish, you're an idiot, to don't even try to publish at all.
Because then you're, like, a super idiot.
Yeah, because then you're a super idiot. Like, I mean, so I'm scrolling through everything, and I'm like, man, it would be really nice if I could just ask somebody about this. And that it was, like, the light bulb moment. Because, of course, I'd been following her status and creepy stalkering her.
Obviously.
As Michelle had been, you know, getting her agent and signing and doing all of that. And so I sent her a Facebook message, and it was really just one of those things where, so we've been talking a lot about Myers-Briggs this weekend, and
Change of subject,
but I'm a textbook extrovert, so I'm not shy sending messages out of nowhere.
And I am so introverted, it's insane. Like, I mean, I'm not shy. Like, there's such a difference. Introvert does not mean shy. Like, I'm not shy at all, but, like, I love being by myself, guys. I'm, like, nothing better than alone time with a book. It's like my favorite thing ever.
The more the merrier in my world. But, so I had no problem just reaching out of the blue and saying, hey, I know you're doing this. I'm interested. If you have, like, 10 minutes just to give me some advice, I would be so appreciative. And you did.
And I probably wrote you, like, an essay in return.
I feel like
I have a problem keeping things short, so I probably, like, wrote her this huge explanation. And then from there, we ended up exchanging numbers, and we started texting, and I read Air Awakens before, actually, she even sent it out to agents. And I was like, I love elemental magic, so I need to read this. And I loved it, and I gave her my feedback, and we kind of worked together, and then she sent it off to agents.
And then it was the tough love. It was the, I love this, now cut 30,000 words.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to be honest.
It was good.
Yeah.
But, so I agented, and then I ended up being a self-published author.
And she did an incredible job, and I was so proud. I started out being the one who was inspiring you, and now you're the one who's inspiring me. Seriously. Yes. Like, I see all of your success with self-publishing, and for those of you who don't know, I started self-publishing with Remembrance, then I went to traditional publishing. I'm published by Harlequintine for Diamond Sisters, but after seeing Elise's success with Air Awakens, and, like, her covers, her writing, everything is, like, beautiful, and it's just amazing to see how many people have read and loved her books after I read and loved it myself. And I decided, I wrote this great book about elemental magic too, and I think self-publishing would be the right track for it, and you have inspired me to then do it, so that's why I'm releasing Elementals in January. I love self-publishing, so it's owning your own business. Yeah. And we're both business-oriented. We like having all that control, and it's so much fun, honestly. I love it.
We're control freaks? Is that?
Yes.
We're control freaks.
Yes, we are.
That's what we're really trying to say. Apparently Jacqueline in the chat, she is an INFJ.
So. I'm an INFJ, I think. Except when I took the test with Elise, I tested as INTJ, but I think I asked all my friends afterwards. I got a consensus. Everyone says I'm an FJ. I don't know. I'm an IN blank J.
I think you're a T.
Because you see my business-oriented side.
That's true.
Yeah.
I am an ENTJ. Solidly ENTJ on basically E. I'm literally the textbook E, but so.
And my strongest is my N, my like creative side.
I don't know, like, all the others are pretty close to the line for me. For anyone who hasn't taken the Myers-Briggs test, go take the Myers-Briggs test.
Go do it.
It's really...
And then tweet us and tell us what you guys, please. I'm at Michelle Madow.
I'm at Elise Kova.
We'll add our info to the down bar later, and then you can follow us.
So, I know we have some people here in the chat. I mean, they're talking. They're talking in the chat. So, I will say... I'm thinking that we can talk about kind of our writing process and how we've approached our books, or really anything else.
Or whatever anyone wants to hear. Like, we want to talk about what you want to hear about. So if anyone has anything that they're just dying to know,
or even if you're not dying to know it,
chat us up.
Even if you're just kind of curious,
slightly,
just marginally.
Even if you want to ask us something that's going to totally trip us up, I guarantee you we can handle it.
Or we can try.
Yeah.
And you can laugh at us
and
while
we'll look excellent doing it.
Oh.
Yes.
See, I feel like you have so much more self-confidence than me. I'm like, I'm a slob here in my pajamas eating peanut butter M&Ms, and this is what I do every day.
I'm in my pajamas. Sort of.
You're adorable. And I love you.
I have my hoodie if I get cold. It's behind me.
I approve of the hoodie.
Are people tweeting at us? I feel like I have some tweets coming in.
I don't know.
Yeah. You guys, Jasmine says, you guys inspire me so much.
Aww.
Thank you, Jasmine. That's amazing. You guys are so adorable. Friendship goals. Wow.
The friends who write together stay together.
Always.
Something like that.
Well, we do talk daily.
We
now.
do.
Like, I feel like if a day goes by when we don't talk, I'm like, is Elise okay today? Yeah, like...
You know, honestly, it's really nice because it's really nice having a very close friend who understands the process, because there are points in the process that are frustrating, and there are points that you kind of want to be a little kid and just stomp your feet and go, I'm not happy about this, and this can go for a number of different things, and
yes.
You can't be a little kid and stomp your feet, but it's kind of nice having...
Wait, you can't? I mean, I do it. Home alone sometimes.
Well, the home alone thing, but like you kind of want to go on Twitter and just be like, I'm so upset, and you can't do that, and so it's been really nice.
That's what text messaging's for.
Exactly, and that's why we text every day.
Yes.
Oh, we have some people. Okay, so Danny Reviews thing said, talk about your college days. That was a lot. Okay, I'll go first, and you can collect your thoughts on this one, because that noise, I feel like, said everything.
Oh no.
Okay, so I was, as Michelle said, I'm really big into anime, and I was in the anime club, and I am a total nerd, and like within the first week of being at college, I zeroed in on the anime club, and I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing for the next 4 years. And so I did that, and I became the event planner of the anime club, who later became the president of the anime club.
This was the coolest girl at school, you guys.
Except for not.
Yes.
But not even a little. But you know, it's all's well that ends well, because I made some of the best friends of my life through the anime club. I started the anime podcast that I am still running and still a part of through the anime club, and I met my husband through the anime club. He was the original president of the anime club that I took over for, so cheers. Anime brought me and my husband together. So those were my college days, I guess. And I studied. Yeah.
I did that too. Obviously, studying is first priority when you were in college, like always. So I got to college. I was totally not planning on doing sorority rush. I was like, I do not like big groups of girls. Like, it's just not my thing. I like my small group of friends who I'm super close with. So I did not rush, but then like end of rush week, some people I knew were like, you just have to come to our open house. Like, you have to. We're gonna reel you in. Like, okay guys, fine. Like, I'll come, whatever, I'll just talk to people. And I ended up getting a bid to a sorority, AOPI. AOPI, yeah. I'll do the cheerleader, maybe. The
What?
That's my gang symbol.
Oh my god! What?
So I got a bid and I joined my sorority, which, I ended up having some of my best friends ever, actually. They were some of the most encouraging, supportive people I've ever met. And in my junior year of college, I took an intro to creative writing class because I was an English major, and I was like, I've always loved to write. I wrote for fun a lot, but I never really told anyone because I didn't really think that people would kind of understand why I did it. Like, people would be like, why is that fun? You should just come to our fraternity party. And I'd be like, no, I'm going to stay home and read. So I just didn't mention it. But so I took Intro to Creative Writing, wrote the first chapter of a book you guys might know called Remembrance, and turned it in as a homework assignment. And my teacher and classmates loved it. It was the first thing I've ever shared publicly, like to people I knew, and I got such amazing encouragement. And from there, I told myself that I've always wanted to write a book, but I had never really tried to, so I was going to write my first book and finish it by the end of my junior year of college. So I sat down and kind of a long story, but yeah, I finished my first book by the end of my junior year of college, in a nutshell. And then I signed with my first agent before my senior year started, and then wrote my second book, Elementals, in my senior year. So college was a kind of split in two for me. My first 2 years when I was just very involved with the sorority scene, and then after I really realized that writing was kind of my passion in life and what I wanted to do, I spent more time focusing on that and in achieving my goals.
So 2 things. One, I feel like for me in college, I was like, I watched anime, and you were like, I wrote books and signed with literary agents. So, little inadequacy. No, just, it's all good. It's all good.
But your podcast is so well known now, so like,
the podcast did well.
It all worked out.
But I didn't realize you wrote Elementals back in college.
I did. So I wrote it back in college, and then I wrote Diamond Sisters right after I wrote Elementals. And I figured out I wanted to self-publish Remembrance, kind of start my book publishing adventure, and then Diamond Sisters was picked up after Remembrance, so Elementals just kind of sat there doing nothing, and I love Elementals. I think it's one of my favorite books I've ever written, personally, and some of my family members agree. And once the Diamond Sisters trilogy ended, which actually it ended at the end of October, so it was very recently that the third book came out, I was like, it's now time for Elementals, so it's really exciting.
That's one thing that impresses me about authors, and I still say that like I'm not one, but like I guess other authors, more experienced authors, I couldn't imagine sitting on a finished work for that long. Like when I was going through querying, and I queried 111 literary agents and got 111 rejections, or I mean technically
it's
like
a rough world out there.
Like probably closer to like 50 no replies and 71
through that
something, or 61 rejections. But I mean, I was talking about my options with people, and with you, and with other people that I knew, and it was like, okay, well, you can trunk it, or you can and wait and write something else and try querying with that, and then bring it out later if you get into traditional publishing and get an agent that way, or you can self it. And I mean, I went the route of self-publishing because it was just one of those things where I was like, I gotta get this story out there. I've already had it out there on Fiction Press, and I couldn't imagine sitting on it for longer. So authors to me where they're like, yeah, I wrote this back in college, and I've published 3 series now, and I'm finally bringing it out. I'm like, how do you do that?
Well, remember the time span we're talking about. I wrote Elementals in 2009. So self-publishing was not what it is today.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. Okay, so we have another question from Nadine, and she asks, how did you get your books out there when self-publishing? How'd you market them? I was actually on the Science Fiction and Fantasy, or SFF, marketing podcast recently, where I was talking about marketing, and you can find that if you Google SFF podcast, Elise Kova. You can find that recording. But I always feel like when other authors ask me about marketing, I always have such a hard time answering their question because
there's so many details.
Well, there's so many details, but it's also one of those, I don't feel like anything I did reinvented the wheel. Like, I don't feel like I have any secret sauce or something of like, oh, this is what I did and it worked. Like, I mean, I just try to be genuine and nice to people and appreciative when they read my work, and reach out to bloggers. I mean, I love the blogging community.
They're amazing.
Oh my god,
I love like people. They're on our street teams. Like the enthusiasm that we see from readers is incredible. Like sometimes I just like I'll be having like a hard, writing, it's up and down. So sometimes you'll be having a really hard day, and I'll get a tweet from a reader who's just like tells me like, I loved your book so much, like they made me so happy, and that will just make my day go from here to like all the way up here. So I feel like I write for the readers, totally. Like, well, yeah, you guys are just amazing.
I mean, I recently quit my 9 to 5 to be full-time author. So cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Took that leap. But one of the things I said is I want my readers to be my boss. And when I decided to self-publish, that was kind of where I came from with it, where I was like, all right, I want my readers to be my boss. And if my readers want a book every 3 months, then I'll do my best to give them a book every 3 months. I don't know if I could shorten the time cycle down more than 3 months.
3 months is rough. I'm doing it. I was inspired by this one. Inspired me. I was like, maybe I could do like every 5 months, and she's like, I do it every 3 months, and I'm like, new goals. So watch out for Elementals coming out now every 3 months.
So I mean, I just don't think I could get it shorter than that with getting it to betas, getting it to the editor, getting it back to the editor. You know, all the stages that a book has to go through. I think getting it much shorter than 3 months would be
tough.
Really,
because we want to give you guys the best product that we can, and we don't want to shorten it more than we have to. But yeah.
So, but as far as like getting my books out there, I think just be genuine and really try to connect with the blogger community as much as you can. I think that's
reach out to people. Don't be afraid to ask people, like, you know, do you want to review my book, or invite people to join your street team. Just put yourself out there.
Yeah, I had people ask me like, how did you start a street team when you didn't even have a book out? And I was like, well, I made a Facebook group and I called it my street team
and invited people to join.
Like,
exactly.
That was literally what I did. And huge shout out to my street team, by the way. Oh my god, I love my street team.
Hearts again.
Super hearts. Not just regular hearts. Super
and also, have you guys seen her covers? Because they're beautiful. And I know people say not to judge a book by its cover, but covers are good. Like, you asked about marketing. That's what we're back. Like, that was the original question. And you gotta, like, put time and work into it. Yeah. And, you know, don't skimp on anything. Make sure that everything is the quality that you want to see in books that you want to read. And I think that matters so much because you owe it to the readers to make the best quality product that you can possibly create. So I always try to keep that in mind, too.
So we have a question now from Jacqueline. Jacqueline asks, if you could live in any fictional world, what world would it be and why?
Harry Potter.
I was going to say Harry Potter. It's so cliche,
but it's, like, the best.
It's so, like...
Who wouldn't want to go to Hogwarts?
I know.
Seriously. Who wouldn't want to, like, have a wand and go to potions class and fight trolls in the bathroom? Like, you know...
Harry Potter was my childhood.
Me too.
Harry Potter. But, yeah, I mean, I gotta go with Harry Potter. Like, it's... Whenever I get this question on Twitter chats, and I'm addicted to Twitter chats, but, like, whenever I get...
me addicted to Twitter chats.
You're welcome.
Yes.
But whenever I get this question, I'm like, it's Harry Potter. I'm sorry, guys. I feel like that's the cliche answer for my generation, but it is. Like, I want to be in that world, and I want to learn spells, and I want to learn potions, and I want to feel what it's like to be there, and that would be...
we do live very close to Orlando, so we do go to Harry Potter World at Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios. It's magical. I love it. Like, it's incredible. I love it so much. I have a Harry Potter wand, actually. I joined Pottermore, and like I took the wand quiz.
Oh, I know my wand.
I found a guy on Etsy who carves them according to what your wand is. So I totally
send me that link. Send me that
so long ago, but I sent him my information, and he carved me an individual wand.
I need that. Yeah. My wand is like 11 and a half, 12 inches. Like,
you got a big one.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next question. Lauren asks, you both have elements in your work. What element do you think describes you the most? Well, I am a Libra, which is an air element, and I'm a Sagittarius ascendant, which my ascendant sign is Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, which made me crack up when I discovered that, because I discovered that after I wrote Air Awakens, and I'm like, so I'm a mix of fire and air, because Vala is the Windwalker, and, you know, Aldrich.
Yeah, got it.
Our...
Spoilers, maybe, a little bit.
Well, spoiler that they
Okay.
have a thing going on. So I guess air, maybe from that perspective, but if I had to pick, I'd actually think I'd pick water. Because I grew up on the east coast of Florida, and I grew up diving and surfing and windsurfing and swimming and doing a ton of water sports, and I'm like, water is my second home.
Funnily enough, today I was telling Elise how much I hate water.
You were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to pick water, I guess.
So in elementals, there is actually a fifth element, and it's not really a big spoiler because it's revealed pretty early on, but the fifth element is spirit, and it's sort of more about intuition and understanding others and being able to help and like heal others. And I feel like the central element would probably be the closest to what I am because it is the most abstract of all the elements, and I always think of myself as more of an abstract versus like a concrete person. Yeah, this is getting deep here.
It's okay. We're going deep with you.
Yeah.
We've reached that point. Have a peanut butter M&M.
Yeah. I don't really like candy that much. I'm a
Really?
weirdo. Yeah.
What?
Guys, confession, I don't like chocolate.
Oh my god. Give me the peanut butter M&M back.
No, I'm gonna try it.
Oh,
Let's
you're
see
gonna
what
try
happens.
it?
Yes.
It's my favorite. Like, seriously.
Do I
like,
have my chaser ready?
It's a peanut butter M&M. It's not gonna hurt you.
You know, sweets just don't do it for me.
We'll order a pizza after this.
Pizza. Now
Or
we're talking. Or
Go
tacos.
and get tacos. when she came, one of my favorite taco places was closed on Sunday, and I forgot. But when she got here, I was like, so she's like, I'm hungry, and I'm like, so tacos? Because I follow you on all of your social media, and I'm just like, okay, taco time. Okay. One other thing, so Lauren asked the last question, and then Lauren commented, I always want to tell an author I love their books, but I'm always worried I'm bugging them. And I just want to say, no. Like,
you're like making us so happy.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine that, you know, maybe giant authors get a lot of that.
I don't think I could ever get sick of it.
But that's the thing is, like, I'm trying to think, like, if I was, so I'm going to pretend I'm Sarah J. Maas for a second, and I'm that level of fabulous. I don't think I'd even get tired, though, of hearing it. Like, because these books, like, the books that authors write, it's like a part of you that you put out into the world. And it's one of those things where it's like, you never get tired of hearing, it's like someone saying you look pretty today. It doesn't matter.
Your book is part of yourself. So I feel
Yeah.
like part of your soul probably goes into every book that you write. Like, there's something of me in there. And I feel like, in a way, like, every person who reads one of my books, like, they know me. And if they like my books, they like me. So by you guys reading and liking my books, like, that makes us instantly friends.
Yeah.
Because I love people who read. And you like my books. So therefore,
Well, and there's, like,
that makes us besties.
there's a level of, I don't know, almost raw exposure to your inner soul
There
that
is.
comes in with a book, that comes in with releasing a book. And it's hard to describe, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's one of the things that make reviews, like, make authors hold their breath about reviews. And people, authors know, some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it. Like we know that, we get that, and we get it that not every book is for everybody, and that sometimes you're gonna get bad reviews, and that's just life, and that's fine. So I don't say this from a perspective of saying, like, don't give a bad review because you're gonna hurt an author's feelings.
Even
but
Harry Potter gets bad reviews.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So I mean, I don't say it from that perspective, but I say it from the perspective of it's hard to not take it personally. It's something that it's something that I've had to learn being a new author, and
Yep.
I've texted you a bunch of times going, does this get easier? And it does.
It gets easier because as you put more books out there, you have more positive reviews to always look back and reflect on.
Yeah.
But it's always going to hurt, but it gets easier in the way maybe you learn not to read your negative reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's no point, like,
I
that is
also-
part of you, but, you know, it is what it is.
I also feel like you learn pretty quickly what people aren't gonna like, and
Yeah.
once you see 3 reviews harping on the same thing, you're like, okay, I get it. That's fair. Okay, next question from Jacqueline again. Is there a certain supplier or format of the book that is the best to purchase from to support your work?
I think, it's hard to say. I mean, whatever you like to read, buy it on your favorite retailer because we want you to enjoy your experience best. Personally, like, my favorite, I'm an Amazon fan. Like, people who have known me for years know that I've been using Amazon since, like, early 2000s. I was, like, an early converter. And I love Amazon Prime. I have an Amazon Kindle. Like, I am, like, in the cult of Amazon, so I love them. But whatever you like.
So, I'm very big on kind of lifting the veil of the publishing process because I'm indie and I can make my own rules as it stands right now. And I'm not afraid to say that the way that it works for me as a pure indie is that each of the retailers have a cut that they take. And then for physical books, my revenue from that comes less the cost of printing. So let's say a book is, we use completely unreal numbers. Let's say a book is $3. The sales channel takes $1. It costs $1 to print. I make $1. So that's a completely unreal example, but just kind of examining how it breaks down. And I will say that with my books on Amazon, at least, I basically make the same amount on each of the formats, like ebook, paperback, or hardcover. Which is why I'll have people and they'll be like, I'm gonna buy the hardcover to support you, like close friends and family. And I'm like, for me personally, it's all the same. As Michelle said, buy the format that you want.
Buy whatever you want, because it is kind of very similar.
The biggest thing that it comes down to is just buy it rather than finding it downloaded. I don't even know if you can find Air Awakens illegally yet.
Don't do that.
But
that's
don't do that.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can say is, like, just support authors or artists in general that you enjoy. Support them by obtaining their creations through some form of legal means that gives support back to the author, because it's a lot more than just the sale too. Like, there's a lot of numbers that authors are kind of graded on, if you will, that are more than just the, you know, what the dollars and cents.
Every sale matters a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So Miss Ophelia? I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Miss Ophelia? Since I'm working on the first round of edits on my book right now, I was wondering how much you edit or revise your drafts before sending them out.
Wow. So it depends on which book my first book, Remembrance, it was my first time ever writing a full novel, and let me just tell you guys, it needed a lot of work because it was my first time ever doing the whole novel format. I had a lot of continuity errors. I had a lot of stuff that needed changing. I had so many friends and family and teachers. Everyone read it and gave me their opinions, and it took me months to get to where I needed it to be. And then my agent read it, and then, like, her beta readers read it. So I just kept reading it until it was perfect. But now, like, as you get more used to writing, like, the process will take shorter every time because you know from the beginning what you need to work on and what your weaknesses are. So you can work on them from the beginning stages and make them, like, and overcome them sooner before they become bigger problems.
And also a really good editor, or I guess maybe standard editors. I've only worked with one editor, so I can't say, like, every editor does this, but my editor will give me kind of one sheets of things that she notices are reoccurring errors in my work, and she'll say, you know, you always use this dialogue tag incorrectly, or here's a word that you consistently mix up, or something like that. And that's something that, as Michelle was saying, as you publish more and you go through the process more times, it gets faster, because part of it is as you work with other people and they give you feedback, you start to become more aware of what you're doing as an author and as a writer.
Yes, so edit until you think that it's the best it can possibly be. Like, until you can read your draft and not put any red on your own page, that's when it's done, and no sooner.
Yeah. I think, yeah, going back and forth a number of times, getting a bunch of eyes on it, but there is a point where I love the Steve Jobs quote, real artists ship, and there is a point where you have to say, part of being an artist is saying, I have to send this out. I have to put this out into the world.
Of course. You're never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing is perfect. But you just have to do the best you can possibly do and create something that you're proud of, and then move on to your next work.
All right, next question. Ariana. I love that name.
Is that Ariana Abden?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, hey! I love you. You're like I've met her, like, RT
Oh,
and
really?
stuff. Yeah, she's awesome. Like, we love her.
I want to go to more book conventions. Take me to more book conventions.
We're gonna do some.
I need to figure it out. Okay. She asks, what has been your favorite movie of 2015?
Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Duh. Like, I don't know how many of you all have seen it, but I literally the minute the credits started rolling with the Star Wars song and like saying like episode 7, I got tears. They were like,
Aww.
I was wearing 3D glasses also, so they like fogged up, which was kind of awkward. But like there were serious tears, and I just loved the movie. I think like any diehard Star Wars fan's gonna love it. Any new Star Wars fan's gonna love it. I don't want to give spoilers, obviously, but there were some real characters you could root for. So it's by far my favorite movie. I want to see it so many more times. Like, I saw this movie once and that was not enough. Like, I'm going to that theater more.
I'm trying to think. I actually don't watch that many movies. I know this is really sad to admit, but like, so, I mean, for the past year, I've been working a 9-to-5 job and then coming home and writing full-time, basically, at home. So most of my weeks and weekends were writing and editing and working on publishing. And so, like, it's been a pretty busy year, so I actually haven't gone to the movie theaters that much. But I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to say Crimson Peak, because Tom Hiddleston.
Isn't that a horror movie?
It is, but Tom Hiddleston.
No horror for me.
Tom Hiddleston.
You have a little crush, don't you?
I have a big crush. There's a reason why I've had readers send me like Loki bookmarks, and I have on my. You've seen the one?
Oh yes.
Right, like Tom Hiddleston's on the last page. That was also one that someone sent.
That is some
me.
Elise inspiration right there.
All right, let's see. Next one. Please share some of your bestest experiences as authors, and that's from Jasmine. And Jasmine, I love you.
So one of the experiences that's really going to stand out for me is that I was at Book Expo America, which is a huge book convention, and it was just after Remembrance had come out. I was pretty much unknown. Like, the book had been out for a very short amount of time, and I go to Book Expo. I was just like, I was there as a fan, not even as an author, because I was indie, like, I did it myself or whatever. And then I was sitting there listening to an author I like to speak, and I got up and I heard someone be like, "Hey, Michelle Madow. You're Michelle Madow, right?" And I was turned around, I was like, "Yeah, hi." And she's like, "I love your book so much. Can we take a picture together?" It's like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, I'm always going to remember this moment. And I really have. That was incredible. It was the first time I was ever recognized by a fan of my own work at a book event. So that was pretty incredible.
Cool. Air Awakens has moved so quickly, and I've been flabbergasted almost on the daily just by every time a blogger that I have never spoken to posts a review of my work. I'm just kind of like, how did you find me? Like that's almost what I want to ask. I'm like, I'm nobody. Like,
ask them. Be like, how'd you hear about my book?
I should start doing that. But probably one of the things that comes to mind, as I've mentioned before, I posted on Fiction Press originally with Air Awakens, and I posted every single day for about a year. It was just shy of a year. I think it works out to like 10 months. And I had someone, when I was publishing, I sent private messages on Fiction Press to all of my old readers, basically just thanking them for the time that they took to read my work, and to say, this book is for you. Like, this book would not have happened if it wasn't for your encouragement and for you being there with me throughout the process. And I had someone email me back a really, really heartfelt and nice message about how they look back in college, and for basically their entire senior year, every day was getting up and checking for a chapter of Air Awakens, and how that book, like, they're forever going to think of their college experience, and Air Awakens is going to be a part of it. And that was kind of one of those moments where I was like, I feel like as artists, you're always reaching out, and you're trying to reach out to someone's heart, and you have to put that message out into the universe, and you have to wonder if it got there. And that was one of those moments where I could feel that it got there. The message, the heart, the feeling that I put into this, it got to you. And that connection over space and time. And I'm waxing poetry, but
piggybacking on that, like creating something from our own heads, characters, plots, and putting it out there, and knowing that someone else is experiencing that in their own heads.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So that was probably because I have so many books that I think of from my childhood, and I'm like, oh my god, this was these years of my childhood, and to know that Air Awakens was like that for somebody is really super cool. Okay, let's see. Next question that we have, Lauren asks a bit of a different question, but when writing, what is something to stay away from or something you shouldn't do? Telling instead of showing.
Yeah.
It's cliche, but
If
it's
you ever,
always right.
If you find yourself summarizing, like, and then the characters did this, and then they did this, and then all this happened, and then finally we get to our next scene. Like, look at what you just said and think, can this be a scene?
Yeah.
It probably can be.
That's, like I said, it's the standard answer, but it's usually right.
It's true.
This comes from Amanda Lee, YA. I'm really bad with names, you guys. I'm really bad. It's kind of a joke among my friends, so I'm sorry about that. But what was your favorite book that you read in 2015?
Oh my gosh, I need to
I have
Can I check my Goodreads for a second?
You can check it because I got this off the top of my head.
I've literally read 80 books this year, you guys.
I have not.
Okay.
But my answer is easily Uprooted by Naomi Novik, and again, I'm probably butchering that name. But Uprooted was one of those books. I saw it in a bookstore, and I didn't pick it up because they only had a hardcover. And I've moved into a digital world, and I only buy physical books of books that I really love. And I bought it digitally, and I'm actually trying to hunt down. Not hunt down. I know where to get it, but I just need to buy it a hardcover copy because Uprooted was one of those things that I wasn't expecting the book I got in the best of ways, and I have reread that book since I read it in like October, November timeframe. I have reread that book, actually I think a little earlier than that, 3 times. I kid you not.
Wow, I don't reread. There's
Like-
always more books to read. There's so many books to read. Why would I reread when I can like read new ones?
I loved that book.
Okay, so actually, guys, I lied. I have not read 80 books. I've only read 51 books this year.
Failure.
I know, serious. Such a failure. What is this? So my favorite, it's not like really a solid book. It's actually like a series of short stories, was the Tales of Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare, which is part of her Shadowhunter Chronicles. And
I need to read that.
I'm a huge Shadowhunter fan. Like, I'm obsessed with them. They're amazing, amazing series. And I kind of put off reading Tales of Shadowhunter Academy because I was like, it's just short stories. It can't be as good as a novel. But together, it's 10 short stories, but it's all really a novel when you put them all together. And it was incredible. I find that world so magical and amazing. And I kind of want to live in it every time I read it. So definitely that one.
Allie asks, what is your favorite book series? So I'm going to put aside Harry Potter.
Yeah.
For me. Of course, I already said that was my childhood, but I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to say it's a series, and I can't recommend this series enough. It's a series that is called A Man of His Word, and the first book is Magic Casement, and it's by Dave Duncan. And this book was one of those books where I was writing in high school, and I was dabbling, and I was really shy about my writing at that point, because in 6th grade, I had a teacher who asked us to write a long story. And this was 6th grade, and they wanted it to be they wanted to challenge us for it to be 10 or 15 pages. Okay. And so I said, I want to write a chapter book. And no one believed me, and so I wrote a novella. So it ended up being 40,000 words, so a short novella.
Wow.
And it was a high fantasy. I have the original.
Oh,
tell me to show it to you. You will laugh at me for
huge.
this. So I wrote this chapter book, and I turned it in, and the teacher handed it back to me. I handed it to her bound, and she handed it back to me, and she said, I'm not reading this, it's too long. And I'm not surprised that she didn't, but it's more the fact of that always stuck with me, that she didn't even open the first page of it. And so after that, I got really shy about my writing, and I had a teacher in high school who knew that I liked fantasy and knew that I kind of wrote a little bit. And he said, he's like, this is a really good fantasy series, and I think you would like it. And I loved it. It has a really cool magic system. It has a really cool world. I need to go back and reread it. I haven't reread it in like a year or two now, so I'm about due to reread it. But Dave Duncan, a man of his word. First book is Magic Casement, and that's probably top not Harry Potter series.
So for me, this is going to be another cliche answer. Sorry, everyone. Twilight is probably one of my favorite book series ever. I actually read Twilight back in 2005, which is when it was first published. And I just remember reading it and being so enchanted by the entire story to the point where I just needed to know what was going to happen next. And the next book wasn't going to come out for a year. So I was like, what's going to happen? I need to know. Like, I started creating all these stories in my head about how I envisioned Edward and Bella happening. And then I discovered fan fiction.
Oh my god, I love fan fiction.
Yeah, so this was my discovery, and I started writing my own ideas out, and I realized other people were enjoying reading about my ideas. And that was a huge revelation for me, a huge turning point. And I got really involved with Twilight, like forums online, with talking to other fans. And Stephanie Meyer, the author of Twilight herself, was actually a part of these. And I ended up chatting with her. We would exchange emails. We would talk a lot. And I met her at Book Expo America in 2006 when I got an advanced copy of New Moon. And she signed like multiple copies for me. And then I went to a signing of hers actually like 4 years later. And I walked to the table, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Michelle, hey, like, you changed your hair color. What's up?"
Aww.
It's like, Stephanie Meyer remembered me. And it was just so exciting. Actually, if you read Eclipse, the third book in Twilight, you'll see there's a character named Michelle in the books. And that's because Stephanie at one point was trying to name her characters, and she, like, talked to her huge fans in a chat room. And she was like, "Guys, I need some names super quickly. Like, who wants their name in my book?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want my name in your book." And so if you turn to pages, like in the very beginning, there's a newspaper article about all the humans who were killed in Seattle by vampires. Yeah, I am one of the humans killed by Seattle.
Nice!
By vampires in Eclipse. Like, yeah.
You're
winning.
looking good for being killed by vampires.
I know, like pretty alive.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually think I'm pale, but this is color.
Okay, next question. Next question comes from Annie Stylen. Oh, by the way, hi. I heart you. You're wonderful. Out of your own and each other's books, what character do you relate to most, and which character do you wish you were more like? So, okay, I have it off the top of my head. So if you want a moment to think, out of your books, I'm gonna have to pick Courtney from the Secret Diamond Sisters, and I haven't read Elementals yet. I'm waiting until it's closer to release, because that means it's closer to me getting book 2 and you having that more finished, and so I can take it. But I would have to pick Courtney because she's very pragmatic and she's very sensible, and I feel like I related to her most out of the Secret Diamond Sisters. Out of my books, that's really hard, but there have been a couple times where I've been writing Aldrich, and I feel like I really relate to him as a character in some of the sentiments he has and the feelings he has. And it's been almost, I don't know if you've ever had this moment, but it's been almost one of those things where I just write him as the character that he needs to be based on his backstory in the world and the character he is. And then I go back, and when I'm editing, and he'll say or he'll do things, and it's almost one of those oh wow moments where it's almost like a self-revelation. Like, he'll say something and I'll be like, that's something that I should say to myself, or I should say about myself. And so, because when I write, it's almost like a movie playing in my head. And so I say my characters do things without me telling them to do them. And so I would actually have to pick Aldrich for my own work.
I mean, out of your work, honestly, I'm most like Vala.
I can see that.
Vala. Yeah. I mean, she works at a library. She loves books. She loves reading. I mean, hello, I just told you guys that I read like 50 plus books a year. Like, yes, I love to read. And then she discovers that she has these magical powers and is thrown into a whole new world. And I just feel like everything that she does is very much how I would do it. Like, she is very confident. She likes spending time alone, but then she falls for the prince, which wouldn't be so bad, right? Yes. Out of my books, guys, don't hate me, but I'm probably most like Madison, and not in Diamond Sisters, but like in Diamonds in the Rough and Diamonds Are Forever. A lot of her personality is kind of drawn from me. If you were to actually combine Courtney and Madison, you probably have me. Like, if Madison had Courtney's bookworm side, But yeah, definitely for sure. But she's cool. Trust me.
She does get better.
Yeah, she gets better.
The first book, you did
the first book is like me in high school, right? I was terrible in high school.
You did a very good job of creating a character in Madison that in the first book I was just like, can you please just go away and stop existing? And then by the end of the second book, I haven't read the third book yet. By the end of the second book, I was like, oh,
you're not so bad,
honey,
right?
You're not so bad.
Exactly.
Okay. Gavin asks, TV shows you love this year.
Fear the Walking Dead, obviously. Like, I love The Walking Dead so much. It's one of my all-time favorite shows recently. I love zombies. I love apocalypse stories. I love anything where the world is ending. I mean, actually, I love it because it pushes people together who would not normally be in situations together and makes them learn how to work together and understand each other's differences and to, like, just kind of relate in ways that they wouldn't otherwise, which is why I like apocalypse stories, but I just love Walking Dead so much. But Fear the Walking Dead, I like better actually than the original show because it shows the beginning of the apocalypse. You get to see these characters' transformations into living in the original world of what we all have today into transforming into the apocalypse. And I just love to see that, and I think it's absolutely fascinating and cannot wait for season 2 to start in February.
Game of Thrones.
Well, yeah, it's amazing too.
Easy answer for me, but similar to movies, I don't watch that much TV. And I watch a ton of anime. Ask me what my favorite anime was this year, and then we'll talk. But TV shows, Game of Thrones, easy. Next one. Ali asks, who's your number one book boyfriend? Can I pick Aldrich? Can I pick
You
my
can't
own
pick
character?
your own creation.
Okay, fine.
That's like your soul.
That's
like saying you want to date yourself.
I sound really narcissistic.
And you even said
then.
that you are Aldrich.
Really? I just want me. No, okay, I already raved about Uprooted, but Sarkhan is hot. He's hot.
Jace from Mortal Instruments, like, he has got that whole bad boy, like, I'm just gonna slay some demons and, like, do my own thing sort of attitude. Like, he's pretty awesome. Definitely Jace.
He is really, really good.
Or Ash from Iron Fae. Basically, I like a guy who can, like, slaughter everyone around him.
And I apparently like the egotistical, arrogant pricks.
Yeah.
Considering probably my second choice was...
Solid tastes right here.
Yeah. we have high quality taste in men.
Yeah, very high standards.
Do as we say, not as we do when it comes to dating. Though, I
don't
like
take advice from me with dating.
my husband. Okay, next question. Lauren commented that she's never read fan fiction before.
Yeah, you're missing out.
There's some amazing fan fiction. There are some Harry Potter fan fictions that are longer and better than some books I've read.
That's how Cassandra Clare started, was actually Shadowhunters, was Harry Potter fan fiction.
Well, when I started writing Air Awakens, Air Awakens for me, this was the thought process, well, it's part of the thought process that went into Air Awakens. I love fan fiction. I should write a fan fiction. And then I was like, what would I write a fan fiction about? Well, love Tom Hiddleston, love Loki, what about Thor? But then I was like, I don't really want to spend all that time on something that isn't my own world and my own characters. So then I found Fiction Press and went that route. But then Lauren also asks, do you write your books on paper or type them?
I type them. Guys, this is 2015.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's exhausting. My hand's not in shape that much.
I've met authors who write out their books on paper, and I'm like, how?
Like, that's a lot of writing. Like, a lot of physical writing. I can type so quickly. Like, I've had people, like, look at me, like, when I'm typing on my laptop, and they're like, you're not actually writing anything coherent. You're just, like, sitting there tapping random letters to impress everyone around you, aren't you? No, I'm actually writing.
Actually doing that.
Yeah.
No, I type them, but what I am trying to do with my next work in progress that I'm working on right now is I'm trying to do all of my planning and world building on paper because it forces me to slow down. Whereas if I sit down in front of the computer and I let my head get into this world space, I'm just going to start drafting. I'm going to go right into drafting with it. And I'm trying to force myself to step back and really make sure I plan and not kind of go back and edit later for continuity and get a cohesive story all the way through, which I think I'll benefit from. So I am doing a bit on paper right now, but I would never draft on paper.
No.
That would not
It's
happen.
just not efficient. And we're trying to get books out every 3 months for you guys. Efficiency is key.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Favorite dystopian world from Annie Styling?
It's tough. I mean, dystopians are not worlds you want to live in. So picking a favorite one is rough. So you're talking about the most gruesome one that we would never want to live in, because that's what we like about dystopians, right? I love Hunger Games. I mean, again, it's so cliche, but I love it. Or Divergent. Actually, what I love about Divergent is that you have to pick a faction. And we mentioned Myers-Briggs in the very beginning. I just love categorizing people. I feel like in Harry Potter too, like they go into houses. Like there's always personality testing, and I love personality testing. And for that reason, I'm going to actually choose Divergent.
What house are you in Harry Potter?
I'm a Slytherin.
Are you really?
Yes.
I can see that.
Thank you.
Ravenclaws represent. Actually, I think I'm a pretty solid Raven, but my second house is Hufflepuff. Actually,
I don't know. I don't have a second house. I'm just a Slytherin.
Maybe
Ravenclaw would be my second, because I like knowledge.
I've tested. I mean, I always test into Ravenclaw, but I've taken a couple of them which have like your top 2 houses or ranks the houses in orders, and Hufflepuff is pretty solidly my second. Anyways, that wasn't a question. My favorite dystopian world, The Giver.
Really?
Because that's technically dystopian,
Yeah.
and I love that book. I think that book is a phenomenal book, and I love Gathering Blue, and I love The Messenger. So all of that world. Sandra the Bookworm asks, "Hi, Sandra.
Street team member represents.
What was your favorite anime? I would love to know." Don't do this to me. Don't.
I wish that I could help you and answer while you're thinking, but I don't watch anime, you guys. I liked Captain Planet a lot. That's a cartoon. Kind of close, right?
I'm trying to show. I want to show her Vampire Knight. If you like anime, I'm trying to show her Vampire Knight before she leaves. Okay. Probably my favorite anime is Revolutionary Girl Utena. That anime stuck with me for a long time. That anime is directed by Ikuni, which is his Ikuhara, I think is his full name. And he also did Mawar Penguin Drum, which is phenomenal. More recent work. I love that anime. Like the first line is Umete kotoba dai kirai, which is I hate the word fate. And I just that sentiment to open up a show I love, and the whole show is very good. So probably Utena, Mawar Penguin Drum, of course the classics, Cowboy Bebop. Escaflowne is an amazing series in the fantasy genre. There's, oh my god, I like too many anime. I've seen probably well over 300 anime. The Ghibli stuff is good. Samurai X is a masterpiece. I'm gonna stop myself before I get way too far into that. Okay. So, next question. Here we go. So Sparkles and Lessons ask FMK your book characters.
What does that mean?
FMK is, marry, kill.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
For the first one, I would definitely say, oh my gosh, do I want to marry him or, I guess Damien Oliver, and then,
Okay, I can see that.
I can't kill a character, you guys, I love them. Who don't I like?
See, here's where I'm like, I kill a lot of characters.
I guess, like, Larissa, from Diamond Sisters, because that's what they know. Like, they don't know Elementals yet, because it's not out yet. I gotta do Diamonds, so, yeah, that's it. So the order of FMK is Damien, Oliver, Larissa.
Okay, so first one, Aldrich. Yeah. Probably Daniel. And kill, I'm going to refrain from answering this because I actually kill characters in my book.
Yeah, you don't want to give spoilers.
And I don't want to give spoilers. So I feel like anyone who I say could either be interpreted as an actual spoiler for the book or just a teaser of what may be to come. Next question from Allie. DC or Marvel? Who's your favorite superhero? Batman.
I'm not really into comics. Awkward. I like X-Men a lot. Is that one of those?
Yeah, that counts.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have a preference between DC or Marvel. Either Batman or Iron Man, though, for my favorite superhero. Tony Stark, billionaire, playboy, genius, philanthropist. Come on, doesn't get better than that. Okay, let's see. Scroll issues on the chat. Okay. Lots of people talking about anime. What? I see people have actually watched Utena, which I love.
Do we have more questions, or do we keep it to
Most recently?
Yeah. So.
Oh, we have. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
Guys, a unicorn. Duh.
A dragon. Let's go with that. Favorite meal your parents made growing up?
My parents don't cook, so we were really good at calling that pizza delivery man.
Chicken curry.
I love Indian food.
My mom would make chicken curry on the regular. She'd put all the stuff in the crock pot with the curry blocks, stir it up, let it simmer all day, cook some rice when we got home, and that was my favorite meal growing up. Absolute favorite. Okay. I think we're caught up on the questions.
Yeah. If you guys want to know anything else, like, we have Twitter.
Yeah.
You are free to, like, tweet us at our Twitter names. We're going to add them to the down bar, and we'll answer questions, like, all throughout the day tomorrow. Whatever you want to know. You know, whatever you want.
At Elise Kova.
At Michelle Madow.
And we both have, in addition to Twitter, we both have Instagrams. We both have Facebook.
Snapchat.
Tumblr.
Yeah. You'll find us.
Yeah, we're pretty easy to find. And I know my website is elisekova.com.
And mine is michellemaddow.com.
So see, I mean, it's pretty easy.
Like, you'll see social media links on there to add us on your favorite social media.
Yes. And this has been
really fun. Thank you for asking amazing questions. Like, you made us think, and that's amazing. Like, yeah. So,
well, and you eased a bit of the worry we had that no one was going to show up.
That's very true. Thank you for showing up. Like, your presence means a lot. And we hope that we're so happy you enjoy our books. Like, we hope that you are like, if you're interested in them, we hope that you do enjoy them. And we just thank you guys for, you know, being awesome Street Team members, being awesome fans, and for chatting with us today. And we hope to continue, like, being in contact. So,
yes,
hit us up.
Everything that she said, double. So true. So, thank you very much, everyone. And we'll catch you on social media.